Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are definitely focusing on contouring. Contouring is probably the biggest thing in beauty right now. Everyone is talking about it, everyone is asking about it. It's probably the biggest question everyone needs to know because contouring is very unique and very personal for everyone's own face. That's why today is going to be taken with a grain of salt. So when watching this video, when listening to this video, I want you guys to look in a mirror and I want you guys to face the mirror while listening to this video and watching this video if you can, and really work on it your own way while I'm trying to explain it to you. So while I'm doing my own face, I want you guys to try to focus on doing it to your own face because I'm not teaching you my face because you guys don't have my face. You guys have your own face. So let's try to focus on that with what we have. And before we do that, let's kind of describe the difference between powder versus contour. Powder contour and cream contour. Okay, so the powder contour kit of Kat Von D is the one I'm going to use. I use this one because it blends very nice. I have more of a fair skin, light to fair skin tone, obviously. And if you like more of a natural to medium to intense contour, you can do all of that with powder. If you want a natural contour always, you're only going to get that with cream. So if you have a cream contour kit, whether it's Anastasia, whether it's Cover FX, whether it's any cream contour kit, it's always going to look natural, whether how much you put on, whether you do the crazy look that you see all over Instagram. The more you blend it, the more you put on, it's forever always going to look natural. If that's what you're going for, get a cream contour kit. If you want a natural or a medium or a intense contour, get a powder contour kit. Depending on your skin types, anything like that. If you have a powder foundation, if you only wear powder foundation, I recommend doing powder contour because you can't really put cream on top of powder foundation. Obviously, it's just going to start separating. With any type of liquid foundation, any type of oil foundation, any type of thinner foundation, you can kind of use cream or a powder. So decide with what you have and go from there. So here we go. Let's get started. Figure out what you want to do. Today I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Foundation in the color 117. Okay, so I'm using the Sephora Multitasking Foundation Brush in 45. And you guys know, just to kind of buff this in around the face. This foundation's really good. It's good for kind of combination to, I'd say combination to, I'm just going to say just combination skin because I wouldn't say I'm dry or oily right now because I'm neither at the moment. So if you're just kind of combination skin and want a buildable medium to full coverage, this is a good foundation. And it's the Ultra HD, so it's the new formula because they had the regular HD foundation, and I like the new formula opposed to the old formula. So of course you always want to, before you start highlighting and contouring, you want to do the foundation first because we're trying to make one color. We're trying to even out one color of our face before we start putting the sculpture and the shapes back to our face, which is the highlighting and contouring. Always go down the neck. And I'm working from my hand, as you guys can see. Here we go. Here's the bangs. Okay, so always apply your foundation first. Now you can decide what you want to do with how you apply your concealer. Always want to do a concealer that's 2 to 3 shades lighter than your skin tone. First off, because it'll help highlight your face and it'll help kind of bring out those glowing parts of your skin, and it'll help bring out, when we do the highlight powder of our contour and highlight kit, it'll kind of work as like a base to make that highlight stand out more and make it more intense if you want that. Again, I'm telling you guys what my preference is because this is how I do my face. So take this again with a grain of salt. This is how I do my face. Do what you want with your face. So again, I'm making a T-shaped face, a T on my face, sorry, with the concealer. Oh, I'm using the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Concealer in Fair. And you can put this, you can use whatever concealer you want, just make sure it's 2 to 3 shades lighter. And if you have to correct any under eye tones, make sure you correct those first with like a pink or peach tone first, and then go in with the concealer beforehand. Here we go. Okay. Do you see a T yet? Okay. And blend it in. Now I'm stippling this in, so we want to keep it in the same place. I really like this concealer. It kind of gives like a nice radiance look without being like super matte. Like I've been trying a lot of different concealers, and I'm not too picky, but some of them are just so matte then they start creasing later throughout the day. And I have a lot of people that have that same issue. They have like creasing underneath the eye. And you can bake it and you can do all these different things, but it's still going to do that even if it has that matte look. But this one already has that kind of radiance and kind of sheen to it that it's not going to do it as much. So I like it. So now we have that base down of our foundation and our concealer. Now this is where you can choose if you go in with the cream contour kit or the powder contour kit. Like I said, I'm going with the powder contour kit, and I am using the Kat Von D Shade and Light contour kit. And I am out of the lightest shade in here. So I am using the Sephora matte eyeshadow in Let It Snow. It's just a white eyeshadow, completely white. And I'm going to use this eyeshadow, but I'm also going to mix it with the yellow highlight shade in this palette. And I'm just going to work this in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set where I put my concealer in that T shape. I'm just going to set it with this highlight powder. This also bakes it, is what everyone is calling it now. It's been around forever now. There's a fancy name for it. Baking. Cooking our face. Goodness. I'm taking, I'm taking one of Kat Von D's old school foundation brushes from like a super old set of hers. As long as you just take kind of like a dense, I guess like a full kind of dense flat brush I would do with kind of using for a highlight brush would be good to kind of set this. So making sure this is all nice and set. Again, this will help make sure that we don't crease underneath these eyes on here. If we ever get kind of like, if our nose starts to separate throughout the day, I feel like this helps prevent that. So if you guys have that issue, maybe give this a shot and see if this kind of helps. Again, always do a primer underneath your foundation if that is a big issue for you. If we get super shiny, but see if this helps. Okay. Am I going a little too crazy with the highlight? Never. Okay. Now it's going into putting the structure back to our face. And with that, I'm going to use this taupe shade. This is going to be a taupe shade. There's taupe, there's bronze, and then I'm going to call this like, I'm going to call this a deep contour. I feel like it has a little bit of red in it, but I am going to call this a deep contour shade for my preference. We are going to start with this just regular taupe shade here. This is going to start with putting the structure back to our face. With finding where to place your contour, this is where I want you guys to really listen up and get a mirror in front of your face if at all possible. I want you guys to kind of tuck your hair behind your ears if you guys need to do that. And I need you guys to take any contour brush. I am using the airbrush powder brush from Sephora in number 55. If you guys want an intense contour, I suggest doing a smaller, dense brush that'll give you more of an intense line, but it does take a little bit more to blend out. And if you guys want more of a natural and kind of a buildable contour, I would suggest getting more of like a kind of fuller brush, which is what I have right now. I go back and forth with what I contour with, so play with different things and see what you feel comfortable with. So what we want to do is to always find where you want to contour and what your preference is. We're going to walk you through it. So get the tip of your ear right here. We're going to take the brush at the end of whatever brush, and you're going to tilt it down here, and right here you're going to find that bone. Here's your cheekbone. Our cheekbone is kind of where we can decide how intense or natural we want our contour. If we want it more enhanced and diminished, we're going to put the taupe shade on this bone here. If we want it more natural, we're going to go underneath that bone just slightly. So that is up to you where you want to place it. We never want to go anything lower than that, because then it's going to be the polar opposite of what contouring is, and then it's going to do the opposite of what we started contouring for. And we can always clean it with our highlights, so I'll show you how to do that if we ever make little mistakes like that. It's easy to do without completely taking off all of our foundation and starting over. I never want you guys to do that. So I'm going to do a little bit of half and half so I can show you guys what that looks like. So I'm just going to take my brush and take my ear. Everyone has different placements, so this is why you guys need to look at your own face for this. So you're not looking at my face, because that would just do you no good. So I want you guys to look at your own face, find your ear, find that bone, and decide if you want to go on the bone or just barely underneath it for that natural contour, and place the taupe shade in whatever kit that you have. Cream contour kits have taupe and bronze, and you're going to take the taupe shade in every contour kit. And I'm just going to lightly kind of press a little bit of color here, just to kind of get it started. This just kind of gets a little bit of marking down so that we can get it a little warmed up. Same thing on the other side. Okay, so now we have our cheekbones, and with contouring and with this taupe shade, we are just highlighted the middle of our face, and so now we're going to contour basically the sides of everything else. So taking the same taupe shade, and with the same brush, I'm going to do the sides of my forehead. If you have bangs, you don't necessarily have to do this, but whatever, I'm going to do it anyway. Sides of the forehead. And again, everyone has different forehead shapes. So please look and see. If you have a very slender forehead, you don't need to use a lot of that taupe shade. You need to use more highlight. So please look at that. And with the jawline, I want to slender my jawline more just because I want it to be a little bit more slim. And if you already have a slim jawline, you only want to kind of dust a little bit. So I'm going to do a little bit more for my preference. You never want to put too dark of this color because we don't want it to look like our foundation doesn't match us, because then it would look like we don't know what we're doing. I really want to get into that kind of curve right here of that bone to kind of define that. And if you guys are familiar with the Sephora app, there is a contouring application on the app where you can literally take a picture of your face, and it tells you the shape of your face, and then you go through a little questionnaire, and it literally points out exactly where to contour for your face. So if this video isn't helping, or if you want like some more intense help with your face shape, if you feel like you're still just a little bit more confused on what kit to get, or any more in detailed questions you have, I would definitely recommend looking at that app or going into your friendly neighborhood Sephora and yeah, getting some questions answered. It's pretty fun. Okay, so now we just need to do the sides of our nose, because we did the sides of our jaw, sides of our cheeks, and the sides of our forehead. So last but not least, I'm just going to kind of pinch my brush a little bit. Just to kind of do sides of our nose a little bit. Again, we don't want to do too much of this dark shade. And then underneath. Okay, so now what we can do is go back and define it if we want to. I want to, because I'm, you know, I just want it a little bit more dramatic. And I just want it a little bit more. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to take the bronze shade. Bronzer is now what my opinion on it, is used for more of like a prep step for blush, for just kind of warming up our skin for different things. So I am going to take the same brush here and just kind of find the peak of your cheek, and that is literally the kind of the most pointiest part on our cheekbone. It's not the apple of our cheek, the pointiest part on your cheekbone. And I want you to take that bronze shade in your palette, and I want you to just really press in that bronze just to kind of warm it up. Just really put that, just kind of press it onto the cheek, and then a little bit kind of in the curve of the chin. And then again, kind of decide what you want for your forehead, but just kind of warm it up just a little bit on the forehead. And that's literally all you need to do for the bronze, because it's matte. You never want to use a sparkly bronzer with the contouring kit, which is why it's matte in a contouring kit. Okay, so now what we want to do is, if you have a darker skin tone, obviously I am not this dark to be using this shade right now. I can use this shade if I am going for more of an evening look or an intense contour kind of day, but I'm not using these two colors today. Okay, so after you get all that rest of that bronzer blended into that kind of peak of the cheekbone, you can decide if you want to go into the darker colors or not. I'm not going to do that today. This kind of is like a peachier highlight, or you can use for a blush if you like, but I'm not going to do that today. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a blush that is going to make sure that we have more of a gradient going with our contour, make sure we don't have any lines, and our skin is always going to be more of an unevenness to our skin. It's always going to be uneven. So we want it to look still like skin, but we want it to look flawless, which is why we're doing makeup to begin with anyway. So I'm going to take my NARS blush in Unlawful. Again, it's like a peachy kind of pink blush with some silver little flakes in it. I'm going to take my Sephora Pantone blush brush in, it doesn't have a number on it, just a blush brush from the Pantone edition. And I'm just going to kind of lightly brush on top of that contour on that cheekbone, make sure we don't have any lines built up. when I first got this blush, I thought it was just kind of good just for like more the light, fair to light skin tones, but I've definitely think it's good for almost fair to medium to deep. Almost any skin tones can wear this blush and it's completely stunning. So definitely stop into your friendly neighborhood Sephora and look this blush up and see if you like it. So now, if we ever feel like we get our contour too low, like I talked about in the beginning, and to fix that, I don't want you to ever feel like you have to take off any of this face. I don't want you to ever feel like you have to give up and you feel like you did it all wrong. I want you to keep it like it is, and I want you to go back to your highlight brush and your highlight shade, whether it is this or the matte eyeshadow, white eyeshadow that I use, whatever it is. I want you to just take that. I just want you to go right underneath that contour, even if it's too low, and all I want you to do is just go over that. If it's completely too low, I want you to take your concealer or foundation and just go over it. That's all I want you to do. It's going to completely clean it up like a magic eraser. That's what makeup is. It's erasing things. It's covering it up. It's camouflaging things. That's all you have to do if you make mistakes. So don't start over. Don't take anything off. You're just wasting product, and I promise you can just clean it. I promise. And also, this is a good little trick if you want your contour to look more intense without getting it darker. It gives more of a contrast with the light underneath it. So if you don't want it to be so dark, but you want it to look more intense, this is a little easy step here. And I just want to kind of blend that a little bit more. Okay, now I want it to be like super glowy, like abnormally glowy. So I'm taking my Wedding Day Sephora eyeshadow mixed with my Becca highlighter in Opal. This is like this was a perk, a Sephora perk. I don't know how much the full size is, but I like it. When I saw it was Opal, I thought it was going to be more white, but it definitely is more of kind of like a champagne-y color than I expected it to be. So I am mixing it with a white sparkly eyeshadow. And I'm just going right above, right on that orbital bone here. I see lots of pictures of people putting the highlight like right on here. And I feel like when I do that, I can't see it enough on myself like I can on like other people's pictures. So I'm just gonna pack that on. If you guys don't have like a highlight, or every highlight you want is always out of stock or sold out everywhere, you know, buy an eyeshadow, because it's the same thing. And if you're as fair as me, white eyeshadows, you know, do a better job half the time. Well, 99% of the time, actually. I like Polyester Bride by Urban Decay, and of course the Wedding Day by Sephora collection. Oh. Cupid ball. Okay. Make sure this is all blended here. I just want to put every sparkle everywhere. Like, it just got this. Like, do you see that belly button already? Okay. All right. And then we're going to set it. So you can either set your contour with a setting powder, a setting spray. They're essentially going to do the same thing. Again, it goes down to skin type. If you have combination to dry skin, again, it's just really, okay. So I like both, because if you have combination skin, I like setting sprays because it touches, I think it touches everything, and I don't think it's going to start separating if you do different types of creams or powders or anything like that. So you can set it with whatever you want. I'm going to do a setting spray and put on a lip right quick. So I will be right back. Okay guys, so sorry if I got on a tangent about, well, everything about contouring, but this is how I contour with powder, and obviously starting out with foundation first and doing more of concealer for kind of that cream base. If you want that highlight powder to be more of that intense look. Again, if you guys want to learn your face, I suggest you guys take this with a grain of salt and look in a mirror. Find that cheekbone with the ear, see if that helps you. Again, take into consideration cream versus powder. If you guys want a strictly natural contour with more of that face like radiance showing through, definitely do cream. If you guys want natural, medium to intense, whatever you want, definitely powder all the way. I like Kat Von D contour kit. Obviously, that's what I use today. Anastasia is great. Smashbox is great. It has the basic 3 shade, and it has a little picture in there that shows you little tips and tricks kind of to show you how to do it. Again, it just shows you a picture of a face. It's not really showing you your face. So again, grain of salt. Look at your face and figure, you know, the placement of what you want your face to look like and how you want to contour your face. So if you guys like this video, please subscribe to my channel and comment and like it would be amazing, and follow me on Instagram at Lips and Lens. Please comment if you guys have any suggestions on what you guys want to see next. And yes, and tag me in your pictures if you guys figure this contouring thing out, and tag me in it and show me you guys' looks. All right, guys, thank you so much. Bye.